when it comes to having your dog do anything, not just with the heel position, but anything at all, you want to think about state of mind and where their focus and attention is. Many times with dogs, when they first start to learn preferred alternative behavior, their body will do the behavior, but their mind will not follow. And the reason why we do obedience is to tap into a specific sort of state of mind. So body language is going to be your largest and primary indicator if the dog is truly connected to what it is that we are trying to accomplish. So in this situation, when I am walking with Sirius, she is reactive to movement. So cars passing, prey, of course, bicycles, children, people, flags, literally quite anything. So for her, she can move quite quickly through the reactivity cycle. So what's going to be really important is controlling that state of mind and controlling the loading level of the dog. So the way that I'm going to do that is, one, you can see how she checks in with me pretty frequently, but two is going to be the ears. Look at how she engages and disengages on her own, but that wasn't always the case. So you see how her ears are down and back and they're kind of flared outwards instead of forwards. When her ears are down and back and flared backwards, she's disengaged from the environment. When those ears come forward, she's becoming engaged and aroused by the environment. You can see that she's doing a really good job at engaging and disengaging on her own. And more often than not all the time, when she does disengage on her own, she typically checks in with me. And that's because through our training of every single time that she became engaged with the environment, I would preemptively, every single time that those ears came up and forward and those wrinkles appeared on the forehead, I would tap on the e-collar until she disengaged from whatever it is. So we have a pickup truck coming up here. And so you can see how those ears come up and forward a little bit. And she disengages completely fine on her own. But you notice how when those ears did come up and forward, if she was focused on the actual trigger of the car, then I would have provided an e-collar tap or a prong collar correction. So we have some people up here in a driveway. So you can see that the noise, see how those ears come up and forward, engage in the environment, the eyes kind of locked on, but then she disengaged on her own. As we start to come closer to the trigger, see how engaged, right? And there's nothing really over here. Now she's looking at the people, right? And see how all of her attention, I want to see where her attention is going to be. In that moment, I would have corrected. In this moment, I would also correct. Because I want to be preemptive. I don't want to wait for the dog to reach a higher level of arousal or engagement with the environment. Really excellent that she can pass the sound of barking dogs without engaging and trying to look over at it. So this is a really good place where I want the dog to be, where previously there was a lot of different triggers, and she's becoming better at engaging and disengaging all on her own. But that comes with every single time that those ears come up and forward that I help her disengage. You could see right then that her behavior was a very distinct choice of engaging with the environment and going so far as turning around and backwards. So I gave a quick prong collar correction right there to help her refocus and break that state of mind and control that loading level. This is a hard area for her because there's typically a lot of prey. She has an obsession with birds, with squirrels and bunnies, of course, being a little 6-month-old Dutch Shepherd, right, baby? And so I want to be more preemptive here, where every time that those ears come up and forward, I'm going to communicate with my different tools, whatever it may be. More often than not, it is going to be the e-collar. But I can also use the prong collar as well. Typically, when the dog turns around and goes backwards, I'll give a leash correction forward. If the dog is trying to go and participate and engage with things forwards in front of me, I'll give a leash correction backwards. But at the end of the day, I just want to be able to provide some type of communication to the dog. E-collar, prong collar, whatever it may be. I've said this before? No. Good. Your verbal markers are also going to come in really handy for situations like this, good girl, where I simply just want to, give a verbal correction and see how her ears immediately disengage from that. But that only happened when for 2 weeks now, every time that she was engaged, oh, this is a motorcycle. We'll see how this goes. Nope. Good. So this is a huge trigger stacking moment. Not only motorcycle, but also dogs barking as well. Good girl. So the goal is to be able, to have very highly charged verbal markers, especially with my no marker. So that way, it's just simply at a no, she can disengage from the environment. Good. And I can use my changes of pace as well to see how engaged she is with me and recenter her. And you also notice how I'm giving my corrections as well. It's not a dragging movement, but is a swift and a quick leash pop. And we're back to that really good ear position. And then she comes back up, and then she disengages all on her own, which is a very big difference because she used to always be engaged with the environment.